Great evening, everyone. Great evening. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Releasing My Secret, the podcast, where we bring in guests and they amplify their voice one story at a time. So I am really, really, really stoked. Y'all know my word, right? Superly excited for my guest on today. And so I'm not going to be too chatty. I am, if you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Santeresa Wilson. I am a certified trauma and recovery coach. I was about to say trauma and recovery coach, but a trauma informed and recovery coach. And so I bring this platform so we could just chat and, let you know that you are not alone in whatever it is that you are going through, whatever your secret is, right? And so just really brief, a secret when people be like, oh, they're gonna tell. Oh, I can't necessarily say that, y'all. If y'all listen to all shows, y'all know it go all kind of different ways, right? Just kind of mix it up a little bit. But it's really those things that we deal with that we don't talk about, or those questions that we have that we don't always talk about. So y'all know I get chatty. I keep saying it and I keep talking. So I'm gonna stop talking right now. So I'm gonna have Nathan introduce himself and we are going to chat it up.
So you're supposed to give me the drum roll and all that stuff. Where's the drum roll? This is Nathan Smalls, the infamous, the world famous. So I guess that's my job, right?
Yeah, because I said I needed some music, some background, but it just didn't work out yet.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna help you out. Hold on. I don't know if they can hear this, but I don't know if they can hear that, but so my name is Nathan Smalls, Miss Santeresa. How are you, by the way?
I'm well. Tired, but well.
Do you ever get interviewed on an interview?
Well, my very first episode of this podcast, I was interviewed.
Really? Okay. Because I have a tendency to flip the script, so I'm gonna warn you now. And I took some notes.
Stuff.
Releasing the secret is number one, so I will share some gems during this thing. So I will tell some personal secrets. And trauma recovery coach. That is very interesting.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'm not getting charged by the hour for being on the virtual couch, but we shall share today. So for your wonderful listeners, my name is Nathan Smalls. I got the dope background behind me. I'm a future author. So I'm promoting a ton of stuff. Just happy to be here with you today and let's have some fun during this next 60 minutes about whatever we're going to recover from. I might need to recover from this.
Listen.
Depending on what happens, right? We'll see.
Oh, man. I really was like, I have to have you on. And let me tell you why. Because we know that in 2020, everybody was trying to figure out what they was going to do, right?
It's true.
So with... Wait, this is gonna sound funny, y'all. I ain't knocking nobody. I know y'all gotta live y'all dream, right? So what happened was everybody started opening up these businesses, right? And it ain't work. Everybody ain't called to be an entrepreneur, right? And so I'm not saying it to knock them. I'm just saying I don't know if you've experienced that or spoken to to some people who you're like, and you look at them, you be like, nah, bro, like just go back.
I have. I have. On more than one occasion, I have.
Because I had to do that, right? And so you're a serial entrepreneur, and I so look up to you.
Thank you.
And I like the movement. It's very, very. You motivate me. Let me say that. And I'm a looker and I'm an observer, and I look at people and I watch their social media. I say I'm chatty, but I'm not very vocal when it comes to a lot of things. I'm a watcher. I'm very, very, very observant. And so let's talk about that. How is it being a serial entrepreneur?
Well, something that I fell into, right? Well, let's take it back a little bit. I'm the product of a lot of things. I had the fortune of growing up in northern New Jersey, great parents. We've had our challenges like most Black homes, right? But within that, I had an infrastructure of and a heritage of having to overcome, right? Some of the things of childhood, learning about my grandparents. My great-great-grandfather is Robert Smalls, one of the first African-American congressmen in the United States Senate. He's in the history books. When you look up Robert Smalls in Beaufort, South Carolina, he's a part of our American history. So, and then some of the other things. So I've grown up with that, having to excel, taking responsibility, making yourself something out of yourself, right? All of those things as a child. In terms of being a serial entrepreneur, I've done the corporate thing. I've worked at E-Trade Financial. I've worked at Allstate. I've had other corporate jobs. But, my mom told me when I was small that you talk a lot. She said, you're going to make a great lawyer. You're going to do so-and-so. And I actually believed her. And it wasn't until I found out my worth and that I wasn't being paid what I thought I should get paid, and really started to look at the world through a different lens, a set of lenses. And I was like, I'm working, 50, 60 hours a week to fulfill other people's dreams and to make other corporations money. E-Trade, one being work for them here in New Jersey, went to Charlotte, did my stint. I was down there 12 years. Financial crisis came. We love you. See you later. Right. And then you have to rebuild. I think we were sharing something off camera about working and then getting laid off. And so I'm like, you make enough money if you're lucky. Being an entrepreneur is difficult. Right. But the thing I always tell people is if you are given the gift, God also gives you the provision to make it happen. Then it's a matter of faith, whether or not you believe you heard the word that you said you heard, without getting churchy. But I apply that to everything. So what does it feel like? It feels like, it's wonderful when you get into that comfort zone where you're using the gifts that you're given. You cultivate those gifts, and then actually you believe in yourself, right? And then now, working 16, 17, 18 hours a day doesn't feel like it, because I'm working for me and I have my hands in a lot of different things. And being an entrepreneur, you have to, it's that thing we always talk about, the 5, revenue streams of thing. And so I do multiple things to pay the bills, but I work harder than I've ever done in my life. You have the ups, you have the downs, but the one thing is that I know I'm responsible for my success. And it's not somebody else. So it feels great. It feels good. That independence, that knowing that, you have to create your own paycheck. One doesn't come every Friday or every 2 weeks. I have to literally sit down and create money out of thin air. I love that challenge. And it's, it's not for everybody. I don't knock anybody who's not an entrepreneur. I think you have to be willing to fail forward. I think you have to be willing to take risk. I think you have to be comfortable with losing, because some of the greatest, businesses, ideas have come through failure and through loss. And so I think you have to be comfortable enough in yourself to not take it personal, and not say that I couldn't be successful. It's just one idea of many, it didn't work out. So maybe it was something that you didn't do something right. You didn't dot that I, cross that T. You go back and you learn, But the thing I have a confidence that that I was blessed with certain gifts, and I'm trying to use them all before my time is up.
You done said a whole mouthful, right? And so every time we talk, I just I sit and just soak it all in. Y'all, I'll be like this.
Should I pass the offering? Put my Cash App is $ Brooklyn Media 2. If that was a word for anybody, $ Brooklyn Media 2. If you felt that word anywhere, Cash App me. I'm taking donations. Let the church say amen.
Amen. You said so. My mind, you was taking my self-worth, where I'm just stuck on it. I'm like, self-worth and knowing that. And then, like you said, being an entrepreneur, you have to accept failure. right? At some type of level. I rebranded, I believe, and I was looking through my social media, and I rebranded several times until I got to this point right here. Like
and literally. You will rebrand again because things change. There's no 8-tracks. CDs are gone. Now we're in digital streaming. There's TikTok. We're always, it's rebranding and repackaging yourself, refreshing the content, keeping your core principles, of course, but you change the package and you re-deliver in a way that's people can relate to today, right? Nothing is the same. We get older, we get wiser, we gain more knowledge. There are different mediums to deliver that. So yeah, we're going to change 5 or 6 times. I say change your business plan the way you change underwear. Hopefully not that often, but often enough.
Hopefully that often.
But often enough, right?
Often enough.
I'm getting off track. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Because, like, I had a client and I used to tell her, charge. Like, what are you scared of? Now, I truly don't, but I know people say, and I don't know, you probably heard this. So people say, people are paid for what they want. But sometimes people don't got it. So when you talk about worth, let me say this, because I think I struggled in that area a little bit, right? Because I'm like, he about to drop a nugget. I see a whole gem about to fall.
I'm gonna let you go on, but I have never disagreed with you so much in my life. I used to say the thing. No, let me tell you. In this pandemic, corporations made more money than any other time in history. Right? Houses were sold. People have money. I always say that. What I had to learn is in my business, giving discounts and I don't got it. No. I just need a different level of people I'm marketing to.
There you go.
I don't have to lower my price. I just got to go, instead of selling in Walmart, I got to go sell in Saks Fifth Avenue. Instead of selling Toyotas, I got to go up and sell a Maybach or a Ferrari, because them damn folks got money.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is not like, well, I got, no, because you broke don't mean everybody else is broke. And so I had to really change the way that I looked at business. And we as African Americans always have this tendency, well, we don't have no money. That's a lie. Because when you live it, people still have mortgages. Yes, we have to be careful, because then that becomes an excuse for not moving forward, right? I just changed. People still eat caviar. I saw people on yachts. I went to during, beside the pandemic, everybody wasn't out of work. Yeah. Everybody wasn't out of work. I live in the bill. People still paying that $3,000-$4,000 a month rent. So where they getting the money from? Yes, middle class America, the people that are the backbone of this country, lost jobs, right? My particular business sector, and that's why I say you have multiple streams of income, right? All of my stuff is not in one sector, right? When you have an investment portfolio, it shouldn't all be in tech stocks. It damn sure shouldn't all be in crypto, because that's up and down now like we see it.
Yeah.
You got to have some blue chips. You got to have some sure stuff. You got to have some cash on hand. You got to have something that rides you through these times and understand what wealth is. Wealth is not cash, right? I was always told the value of your wealth is in your name. It's in who you are as a person, because I'm going to buy into Santeresa, not necessarily the product. I may find 10 people that do the same thing, but because of relationship. So that comes back down to wealth. And what I find is I have something available for everybody. And that's really, I'm glad you touched on that, because we need to re-educate. And part of this time that we're going to use today, I want to talk about wealth.
That's fine. That's what this is for.
And I want to talk about us as African Americans and Black folks. My Black folks, no matter where you live at. I was born in the Bronx, New York City. Fortunate enough, my parents both worked. We moved to Teaneck in '67. I had a car in high school, so I didn't grow up, as impoverished as, plus I had an extended family. So even if there were hard times, I never saw them because I had aunts and uncles, and, my mother was one of 13 children. So we had this big extended family, and we never felt it. But as African Americans and Black folks who need to, if I need to talk to my Black folks, we weren't taught about savings, about stocks and bonds, and the importance of credit, of course, and all that, but the importance of what money and wealth looks like, how to deal with it, how to build it, right? So as we get older, when we have these ups and downs in the economy, we're mostly affected, right? We don't prepare ourselves outside the volatile stuff. So I want to talk about money. I want to talk about the way you look at money. I'm not buying no rims and no gold chains hanging down my neck. Ask me where my 401k is. Ask me if there's deferred compensation plan or retirement savings for stuff. What are the wealth things that you are doing? So all of these things, we'll get into that, but you hit a sore spot with me because I talk about that every single day. And I think we get stuck with these buzzwords. And really, it's nothing but putting obstacles in our place. We have enough there that are set against us, right? So we don't need to add to those.
Additional, yeah.
I just need to hang out. I need to hang out with some friends that got money. I got millionaire friends. Shit, so I might not have it. I go over their house, eat their caviar, and drink their Dom Perignon and stuff because they got money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I told one of my clients that as well. I told her, if they can't pay for it, you find somebody that can, right? And so, and like you said, you have multiple streams of income, multiple platforms that you deal on. So even as a coach, even though I deal individually, I also work with corporations, right? Mm-hmm. Because I can't limit myself to just people. And so I have curriculum. I go in, I help educate, I bring, weeks or, I do weekly sessions at a corporation because corporations have money, right? And so that's what you do. You have to learn, because some people are so closed, boxed in. And Absolutely. So I don't go live on social media all the time. I post stuff. My networking is, I hit the ground running. Let me say that. I need to interact with you because sometimes emails, text messages, things could be perceived wrong, right? And so I love interaction, right? Because I need to sell myself, and I sell myself better as a talker than I do through an email.
Amen. And I hope I don't get your viewers mad, but if you got a business and you rely on Black folks or folks, you're gonna be broke. I was just so. Can we talk? Can we have a conversation?
Listen, if I have my tea, I have my cup up with you.
Go get something so we can. Let me sip something. I promise you ain't nothing in here but some lemon ginger. I should have put a little beverage in there, but I'm in the spirits business too. Lord, I should have dropped something in there. But I am here, so I love Black folks. I'm Black. I'm from, like I said, born in the Bronx, New York. Even when I moved to Jersey, I moved back to Brooklyn. I've lived trying on the come up. As a young adult, I lived in Patterson, gunshots over my head, steel wool in the hole so the mice wouldn't run through. Didn't have to, but I chose to do that. I know what that's like. However, with the challenges we face as African Americans, we have to stop giving other folks, whoever that is, not gonna make this about race, because that we have to stop giving people ammunition for the weapons that they form. Sometimes we're the weapon formed against ourselves that cause us not to prosper. I see this every single day. I had a conversation with my business partner, Jerry, today, right? I have not gonna name no names. I have friends that, whites do this, Jewish people do this. I have one of the largest Juneteenth festivals in the country. How I got that was the support of a Jewish guy. I love people. You can be black, white. I got some people that don't look like me that are good to me more than my folks that look at me. A lot of the stuff I do is self-financed and supported by people who are not black. So what I say to us as black people is we have to learn, because we've been taught, I feel, so much not to support one another, right? Or this, I see a lot of times when I do events on the event side of my business, I'm always asked, can I get that ticket price is, can I get a free ticket, or can I? And you standing in front of a hotel that I done rented for $10,000, right? And it's lights here, and can I get a free ticket? I look around like, how the hell you think this got paid for, right? But yet you'll go down the street to a bar that's not owned by us and dump $300-400 at the bar, popping bottles and making people like us rich and wealthy. But then when you come down the street and I have a business that's owned by a black man, you want a discount or you want this shit free. I'm like, well, say you tell that to T-Mobile and AT&T. What happens if you don't pay the bill? They're going to cut your shit off.
Yeah.
I can curse. Am I allowed to, if you got to edit me out? Is there a bleep button on here somewhere? Can you edit me out? So there you go. So I think a lot of that has to do, and I love talking about us as people, and sharing the knowledge that I continue to learn from other folks and pass it on. That's why stuff like this I'm doing with you is so important. And what you're doing, coaching, and even trauma and recovery, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical trauma. It could be, emotional trauma that's passed on from generation to generation. And then we carry that on, we give it to our children. And I think forums and platforms like this are so vitally important so that we can show our young folks that are coming up. And I love this generation because they're so innovative. And I do wish there was more substance within it, but the overall freedom and expression and ideas and content creation, I think they're wonderful. But we have a lot of work to do on ourselves as people. Yeah. And so every time I get a chance to correct people, correct myself, talk about a new way of doing stuff, I love to do that. I can't wait to get into some of the wonderful things that we both are doing, and giving a roadmap of not only, when I'm on different programs, we would talk for an hour and somebody, well, yeah, that's great conversation, right? Or you come to, an event that I've hosted, I got great knowledge. But the reality is I have to go back home and live that life that I'm living. So I love to give tools. I love to challenge people. Take these tools, try one or two of these things, see if they make a difference. And then, hey, reach out to me, call me back and ask. I like not only to talk it, but let me show you how I built one of the largest events in the United States. And I did that with no money. I've done things absolutely no money. People say, well, how you in this hotel, 2 million square feet? We're going down to Juneteenth the weekend.
I'm excited, y'all. Y'all gonna have to come. I've been tagging. Y'all better check y'all. I told somebody, sorry, Bar, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, cut me off.
I told somebody, I said, did you check your Instagram? Because I tagged you in the flyer to be a vendor. And she was like, I ain't see y'all gotta check y'all Instagram. Because when I tag y'all in something, y'all entrepreneurs that's out there that I know, y'all gotta, because I used to do events, right? Well, I still do, but I used to do events through my church. Mm-hmm. And so I always used to get, vendors. So I'm trying to okay, it's COVID, so we haven't really had anything at the church, but I still know you guys to be a vendor and somebody reliable, right? And I'm like, great opportunity. So y'all better check y'all tags out there. Check notifications.
Check your tags, yes. Us older folks, we have to get more tech savvy. And in back of me is a book that I have coming out about my life. It's called, excuse you viewers, it's called Master Your Bullshit. and we all go through stuff. How do you master things? So I like to talk to people like how a lot of times, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. That's just putting roadblocks. I literally want to teach people, you do not need money to be successful. Poor people of wealth, and I don't mean necessarily financial wealth, but you can have wealth of knowledge. You can have wealth of health, right? You can have spiritual wealth. You can be wealthy in so many different areas. When you talk about wealth, most people think about, oh, it's how much money I have. But I like to share being wealthy and balanced in all areas of life, removing the toxins out so that you can flourish. But in terms of financial wealth, you can do deals all day without money. There are those deals. I did this deal in Atlantic City. I walked in that hotel, rented 2 million square feet, signed a 3-year contract. People say, well, how much it cost you? I walked in there, I signed my name. That's it. Didn't give them any money. Now I had to go make this shit happen. I had to make it happen. And that's when you got to go to work. But I've done 3 or 4 events. Now I have learned the secret of producing events with no money.
And that's the thing. I think it goes beyond events, right? Because you have to, and what I've learned, so we know it's millions of coaches out there, right? Because everybody becoming a coach, and everybody's a master coach, coach class, all kind of stuff. And I was a coach. Excuse me.
Coach bags
for years.
Some people are coach bags.
Yeah, all kinds. And I was a coach for years before I even advertised it, right? And so people have to understand that you have to believe in yourself and
Amen. Sell
yourself, right? You have to believe in the message that you're conveying to people. And so I say that because the doors that people always, they message me, they call me, they say something. It's not me bragging on myself. People are like, oh, you out there doing it. You out there. No, because I have a passion for what I do. And that is conveyed through the message. I always say that being a certified trauma recovery coach, I have the certifications. Yes, I have the paperwork, the certificates hanging up in my office. Yes, but I also have the experience and I have the heart for people to see them free from emotional distress and from the things that they're going through. Like, that's my passion. That's my desire. And so, yes, I've had events and no money. I was supposed to have a vision board party, scheduled, booked. They never sent my contract. This particular hotel did not send my contract. They called me the week of, and it was like, you're still having your event Saturday? I was like, no, because you never sent the I'm a really stickler on business. And so I feel like when you don't follow through with something, like especially a hotel, like I don't really want to do business with you because you should have sent me any. That's a whole nother story for another day. But I wound up not having the event, but I didn't know that they still had it on their itinerary because I've had events there before. So that was just good to know. So it's right what you say, that, you know, your name will take you places. And it's so important to function with integrity so that your name could stay pure.
Amen. That's a word. Yeah. That's a word. That's a word for them in the back of in the last pew. That's a word for them.
Maybe I should get my Cash App. You think that was it? I'm just
listen. You should have it float. You ought to have it floating on the back on your background. The Cash App should be there. These shows cost to produce. They cost to produce.
I'm actually going to different multiple streams of income. I'm about to start offering sponsorship, is so that I can advertise people's businesses through the podcast, because
the Zoom, listen, I'm assuming if we on here more than 35, 40 minutes, then you got the Pro Zoom. And so if you got the Pro Zoom, I know what the price is per month. You got to pay. Amen. You got to pay for that.
Listen, so, I got multiple platforms that I use, multiple.
Okay. So where we going now? Let's shift gears, because I want to teach some. I want to teach some. I wanted to do your show. I think I reached out to you actually too. You said you wanted to talk to me, but I also wanted to talk to you because I'm on a mission to make us better as people, right? So you talked about, I'm excited about a couple of things. I'm super excited. I have my notepad here because I came prepared. And I wanted to share today because you and I have had conversations about some of the great work that you have been doing as a trauma recovery coach. We've had brief conversations. And, we've talked about, extending and doing some other work together. I have a question. What got you started on this? And I'm going to get into why I'm going somewhere with this, but what got you started? How and why did you start your podcast?
Well, I started my podcast because I guess this done flipped, right?
Yeah, I told you I'm good. I told you I'm good.
See, but I'm like, no, I started my podcast. I've spoken on many platforms. People have had me come on, right? And so what I've learned and what I respect, because everybody has their own rules for their platform, but I can't authentically tell my story if I've always have a boundary up of what I could say and what I can't say, right? Especially when I'm faith-based, and I can only say that God's brought me to this point, right? And so if I'm not free to say that, that means I'm not free to tell my whole truth. And yes, I know how to convey a message without preaching all the time, but I don't want to be limited all the time either. And so I wanted to give people a safe place that they could come on and talk about their truth so that people could know, like, yes, I am relatable. Yes, somebody else is going through something that I'm going through, because they're actually able to tell their truth.
Right, exactly. Great answer. I'm gonna give you great answer. See, we done just taught y'all something. That was worth the viewers out there. We just taught y'all something. As a woman, a Black woman, do you find the road and path harder for you as a Black woman? I know I have challenges being a Black man. I have certain challenges. Sometimes in certain situations, being a Black woman is even easier. Being a Black man is more threatening. Have you found being a Black woman, and do you find your sister supportive? And if not, why do you think that is? And if so, how can other women build a network around them to be as successful as you have become?
I wouldn't necessarily say I find it difficult. I think that, as you stated earlier, there's such a stigma in the African American community, right? To where we don't talk about traumas, we don't talk about the things that we've gone through. And so a lot of times on the podcast, no matter who I'm talking to, I'll always say, okay, y'all know I'm transparent, because I have tell all stories, right? And so I feel that if people would tell their truth more, that it would be helpful and we could build each other up. I always say, and I believe that I'm not alone, we go through things, especially in the African American community. I always being a teen mom. I became a mom at 14, being sexually assaulted. Like, yes, we have bad stories. Society makes us feel like those stories discredit us. I'm here to show everyone that you can take that story that you feel was a discredit to you and use that as an asset to move you forward, and then to bring other people forward so that we can be successful, because you don't have to stay where you were at.
Amen. Amen. That's so true. I know I've been inspired in some of the things, like, of course, I grew up in the church. My uncle was founder and pastor of one of the largest Black church, not now, but at the time, in Philadelphia. Grew up, and I've watched mentors of mine, and being a Black male, and one of the projects I'm working on now, the Black Excellence Festival, I watched, women having asked about specifically being a woman, because women have, that bond in sisterhood. And, you had Circle of Sisters, Women Now Are Loosed, and all of these amazing events. And then women come home to broken men, right? And how do I know that? Because I've been in that position, where men don't have a safe space, or, the families, and we find ourselves challenged. And as a people, it's always been my goal to create encouraging content, right? To try to offset some of the negative images, some of the stereotypes that we talked about and the stigmas, and knowing that that's just a piece of the story, right? And we could take that. I think I watched the Venus and Serena Williams, dad's movie.
That was a good movie.
Right? King Richard, and what he went through to provide opportunity for his children. I think those, and the movie did very well, obviously. I thought it could have done better. You know, I made sure that I went, it wasn't the Disney blockbuster, but I think for African Americans, those positive images. So I've been driven to create platforms for those purposes that you're talking about, because those are sensitive subjects, you know, opening yourself up, right? And sharing the pain and the hurt. And while it may be difficult, I think it's also healing.
Yes.
And then you know that there's somebody else that is going through some traumatic situations in life. I don't know anybody who will escape trauma in their life.
No one will.
Because I know, because if Jesus had to endure it, I tell people all the time, what makes you so special?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what makes you special?
No, go ahead. No, I was going to say, and I define trauma as anything that disturbs the normalcy of your life, right? So everybody goes in, and trauma looks so totally different for everyone. And so, like you said, I yes, I'm a woman. I love women power empowerment, but I'm also the mother of 3 sons, right? And so being an advocate, even though I was always passionate about men, because I was always looking for, and being a single parent, always looking for something for my sons to do, which was very, very rare, right? But then when I became an advocate with the local rape crisis center, the amount of men that I advocated for because of sexual assault alone. Now, I'm not even going to talk about everything else that you see, the stories that you hear when they call, going to the hospital, seeing a man broken. And so most people don't know, but some people may know, when you go to the hospital, you could go John or Jane Doe. That's what they call it. So you could get all the treatment, and you could say, I don't want the police involved. They don't have to be involved. And so I've seen a lot of men come to get the treatment, get the medication to prevent STDs, whatever, but to leave out broken, because I just want to make sure I'm safe. I don't have anything, but I'm going to try to go back to my normal life, because if I was to tell someone, I'm already feel degraded, but if I was to tell someone, then it will make me feel like, so I'm just going to keep it to myself.
And then that boils inside and causes internal strife. So, and we African Americans have gone through so much. And that's why I think these conversations and the stuff that we do are extremely important. So I'm gonna let you ask me some questions. I'll turn the interview back over to you, the host. And so I know we're on this time schedule. Anything, ask me some questions. I want to feel like I'm put on the spot. I want to be on the hot seat. Does the coach say, is there a hot seat? I want to be on the hot seat. I want some pressure.
Hot seat. Wait.
I want some pressure.
I don't have a hot seat. I like everybody to feel comfortable in their own comfortable place.
Hot topics. Santeresa, hot topics. What's hot? Let's talk about something controversial.
Controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was about to say, there's too many controversial things out there on the.
Don't get me. You see, I had to take a sip of tea on that one. I had to. Yeah, I got my tea there for a purpose.
You saying that to me now put me on the spot, because I'm over here like.
So let's talk about. So I want to talk about. I'm excited. Juneteenth weekend, you're going to be joining me in Atlantic City. So Juneteenth weekend in Atlantic City, I'm producing. This is year 2 of the Black Excellence Festival. For those who need information, they can go to thebefestival.com. It's THEBE, and then festival.com for more information. It's 3 days of Black culture. So BE Festival is made up of a film festival. This year we have a hair competition, barbers, hairstylist competition.
Wait, we doing film? Is that local film? I didn't mean to cut you off. That's local film?
No. So last year the BE Festival had we had 100 submissions it was a short film. This year we're opening up. It was 100 films submitted, short films from around the world. We narrowed it to 30 films. And out of those 30 films, we selected 30. They all gathered at the Showboat Hotel last year. And we gave best producer, best film, best actor, best supporting actress. And so BE Festival is the BE Film Festival. It's the BE Food Truck Festival. Authentic Caribbean, African American, of course, traditional collard greens, hog maw, and pork chop. Food festival. Then you've got the panels and workshops, right? All the day parties. We had a comedy show on Friday night. And then it was built around the engine, which is what I'm most proud of. The Black Shopping Network's Mark the Marketplace, where we had over 150 vendors on the floor, and built around all of these things were built around that e-commerce where we exchange. And I'm so proud of that, because that alone splintered off into something else that was great. It's a weekend for families. It's in Atlantic City. That's Father's Day weekend coming up June 17th through the 19th. It's also a holiday now. Juneteenth is a state holiday in New Jersey, right? So it's a chance for African Americans to come. I call it our Essence Festival. I love Essence. That's the gold standard in terms of these type of festivals. But they're not on Juneteenth. We're on the Black holiday. We're there for the weekend. We had concerts last year. It's going to be an amazing time. It's on the beach.
I want to say, I'm putting the plug in. I want to be a model because, when I was younger,
you still got it. Come on.
I want to walk the run.
Come walk the run. Shut it down.
You need a whole day. You need a whole day, like dating thing in the corner, like a mix and mingle,
You should have this show. You should podcast live from the BE Festival. So it's a day of African culture. I'm super excited about this. Go to thebefestival.com. You can see the footage from last year. It's a weekend, and we get to create what I'm proud of. I'm gonna be honest with you. Last year, we launched this in the middle of the pandemic, as you know. I'm crazy enough, right, to rent 2 million square feet, rent an entire hotel in Atlantic City.
Yeah, because I was supposed to come last year.
It was amazing, right? We sold the hotel out. I was up in nerves the entire year because, like I said, I'm going to do this crazy event, right? And I'm crazy enough to believe that it could happen, but I got these signals all the way through. And the beautiful thing is, we had a chance to create and be a part of the narrative of African Americans. All too often, we look at reality TV and you see our sisters pulling hair and be this and age that and sleeping with this husband, sleeping with that, all of this craziness. We get a chance to actually, to create the narrative of what African Americans are. And so I'm proud that, and it's not me saying it. And so I take pride in, when you look at the clippings and you look at it, it says Showboat to host the nation's largest culture festival.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's not me saying that. That's the newspapers. And come to find out, we had the largest Black festival in the United States. And I can tell people, and the business side of that is, I created that in the pandemic. I created that when there was no events. There was nothing. I'm in the house crazy. I hadn't worked in almost 1.5 years, 2 years. Like, I was like, we were talking about being out of work, how I'm going to survive. Thank you for PPE and that $300 a month for business, the checks that was coming in. And I tell people, you home making free money, have a plan. Because this is going to end. And this is where you need to be working on your dream, because you're getting paid to stay home, locked down in the house with somebody that you found out you ain't really like, because you got to spend more time with them. And use this opportunity to work on your business. I know, right? I had to not laugh at that myself. People
trying to hold it in and let you talk.
No, I seen the smile on your face. I caught myself. I said, let me act like that just went over somebody.
Yes.
Oh, Lord have mercy, right? And so we had an opportunity to really work on ourselves as people. And that's why I'm also in this, want to teach people how to start a business, how to do things, and don't let money be the obstacle. Because I created this whole event. There was the Women of Color Expo, which just happened in October. We did it in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And it was sold out, nice crowd. It was decent. I loved it. Had a comedy show. I did that with no money. It's, and I want to teach people the secret. You talked about the hotel. You actually gave a piece of it away because you hadn't signed the contract, hadn't left a deposit, but yet you were on the calendar for an event. Hold on one second. I think I need to upgrade I'm gonna switch out because my phone is telling me that I'm talking too much. So I'm gonna go to charge. Hold on. We're gonna make sure we charge here before I get locked out the program.
It is okay. Listen, y'all, I tell y'all, this is real life. And that's the beautiful part about this podcast.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
You keep doing that, right?
I'm back. I done went to AirPods, charge the phone.
Real life podcast. We done had, if y'all was on last week, y'all would have seen Bishop Aisha was on and her daughter was like, she was like, and I want to say, and she just clicked the light off on her.
Well, if I'd have known this was the Keep It Real podcast, I'd have brought me some fried chicken in a brown bag and some Kool-Aid.
Life happens, right? And so that's the beautiful part about this podcast, because it's just real, where people could be comfortable to be themselves and conversation could just flow, right? And what I also love about this podcast is that y'all know we do not ever air Releasing My Secret, the podcast, and just close it out, because we give so much. And then I always say we're all helpers of one another, right? There is no big I, little you. We all work together. We all could convey the same message, but different ways, and everybody learns differently, right? And so I do on this show what I call the call to action. And so the call to action that I tell y'all, I say y'all every week, right? I'm a church girl. So if y'all go to church, it's like going to church, hearing a sermon, and there's no altar call. Or watching a really good movie, you're about to see Who Killed Bob. I need to change the name, right? Because I keep saying Bob. Bob had been dead about 4, 5, 6 times over. But Who Killed Bob? And then the movie ends and the credits start. And you're like, that was horrible. It was a horrible ending. And so I never want you to come on and not learn something, get some nuggets, some tools, something that's going to carry you through, and at least jumpstart you to your next, right? And so I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to open up the space for all the wisdom that Mr. Nathan has for us, because he's been dropping nuggets all throughout this show, and he has a wealth of knowledge. And I got my pen, y'all, and my notebook over here. So if y'all see me looking down, it ain't like I ain't paying attention. I might just be writing down myself. So I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm gonna allow for you to have the floor and share with us the things that you feel that we need based off of what you was dropping with us today.
Hey man, how much time I got? Are you gonna raise the red flag when I get close?
You good?
Can you give me
good.
the? I want the.
You'll get it, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it.
All right. Here's what I think. You know, I could talk about my businesses all day long. I didn't mention the Black Shopping Networks, which is the Black Amazon. But first thing I want to do is Nate, Brooklyn, like New York, Brooklyn Media at iCloud.com. Brooklyn Media at iCloud.com. 917-945-3002. Want to repeat that again. Write this down. 917-945-3002. Email is brooklynmedia at iCloud.com. Anybody needing to be encouraged, anybody wanting to know how to start a business, reach out to me. That's my personal information. I do it all day. Call me. We having a good time, but we want to talk about how to fix things. We want to talk about how to get out of a situation that you might be in. We want to talk about how to jumpstart a career or something. I want to not only share it, I want you to be able to reach me and let me tell you how I did it, how to go from being broken. And I'll start when one of the most trying times of my life. I've been married and divorced. And through my marriage, I've only been married once, but through this particular divorce, it inspired me to write a book, which is behind me, Master Your Bullshit. And those were the darkest times of my life because I was completely broken. But as we talked about earlier, out of that brokenness comes greatness. You might not be able to see it in the situation that you may be going through, but trust me, you can take pain to prosperity. It can be done. It's only a test of the fire, right? When you're shaping something, or you're molding clay, or you're reshaping it, there's a curing process that takes place. You know, diamonds, or you take coal and you put pressure on it, right? We get diamonds. So I just want to tell everybody here that, you know, my personal tragedy has spurred me to where I am today, to where my story was national news. Steve Harvey talked about my ex on his morning show. So I was in a marriage, and I'm going to share personally because I think it's important that, you know, it looks like we got stuff together. It looks like, but sometimes all hell is breaking loose. It might be breaking loose in your home right now. It might be financial you're going through. It might be personal. It might be relationship. It might be health, right? Whatever it is, I want to use this moment to tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So I was married, was separated when this happened. I was separated. My ex went to a church and wound up dating and married the pastor. The only problem with that was he was still married at the time. And so my kids were in the middle of this big mess. And then that went on, and it was a tremendous scandal. After that, she had got married to the pastor of the church. And at the church, a woman came in and slashed her face with 200 stitches. And I was there. And like I said, Steve Harvey talked about this on the morning show. It's in my book, Master Your Bullshit. It's in my book. And I can tell you it wasn't an easy time, especially for my kids because they were young. I could talk about, you know, even though me and my ex were separated when this happened, the impact it had on my children, I was upset. In my book, you read about me going to the pastor's house and kicking in the door and dragging him down the stairs and beating him with a telephone. I mean, it's crazy. I still wonder why I went to jail today.
To God be the glory.
Amen. You'll read about when my ex-wife was attacked. I was for the reason God had moved me back up here. I was living in Charlotte. I was at the hospital, and it was crazy time. I just want to tell people that no matter what you're going through, that's not your whole story. That's not the story. That's not the ending of the story. It's truly believe God gives you no more than you could bear. What I want to impart to people is you control your destiny. The thing it is, I love this part of the show because you said it was a call to action. Well, it is. You have to get up and make the difference. A call to action means that you do something. This call to action that you say is the time for me to talk and motivate people and get, I'm just telling you, whatever you're going through, that's not who you are. It's a circumstance. There's more to that than the things that you've done. So whatever you can grasp onto, take it, reach out to me, reach out to Santeresa, reach out to somebody that you love. Action, take action. I want everybody on this show to call me. We'll talk about how to start a business, how to make money, all of those things. But the first thing is get out of your own way, right? Get out of your own way, whatever's holding you back, right? Don't be the thing that's preventing you from being successful. Don't worry about what family says about you. Don't worry about what your friends say about you. Don't worry about what people who aren't invested in you say about you. I want everybody to believe in themselves and know that you are worthy of all things and you are worthy of love. And then if we can get that piece, all the other stuff we've been talking about, the business, that's going to come. You have to know that you're valuable and you're worth it. You have to know that you have a story that somebody else is going to be inspired from, that there's something inside you that you're going to birth that's going to help millions of people, right? There's something that you have that somebody's been waiting for. We're waiting for you to get it out of you, to develop it. And really, that's it. I mean, I'm a big proponent of us. I think love is the key. I think that we have to support. And so I want to challenge anybody who hears this now, who watches it later, is to be a vessel of love, be a vessel of a positive influence on somebody, be a vessel of sharing information, right? Because we're only here on this earth for a short period of time, and there's no do-overs. Well, I'm gonna get it right. No, you ain't gonna get it right next time because your ass gonna be out of here. So take what you got now and use it and do something with it. We'll talk about all the rest of the stuff later. Again, 917-945-3002. Email me, brooklynmedia@icloud.com. I'll show you how I created one of the biggest festivals in the nation with zero money. I'll show you how to start a business. I don't mind talking about it. You'll read it in the book that's coming out. I'm super excited that you'll find it in Barnes and Nobles. My publisher, Random House, one of the biggest publishers, picked up the story. We're pressing hardcovers now. We're in rewrites. I want to talk about those painful things, how I got through it. You're on this show every week with it's a trauma recovery. Trauma from everything. Trauma from, sometimes it's trauma from yourself. Sometimes we are our worst enemies and we put roadblocks in ourselves that nobody else did. We have to learn to stop defeating ourselves. You can't ask people and want them to respect you if you don't respect yourself, right? So the way you treat yourself is the way that other people are going to treat you, right? So if you're disrespecting yourself mentally, physically, then how you expect somebody else to do something that you're not doing for yourself, right? So it starts within, it starts on the inside, and then people will see that light on the outside.
Thank you. So y'all, now listen, I hope y'all took some notes, wrote it down. He put his contact information out there. It's going to be in the comments around wherever platform you're looking at it, listening to it on. We'll definitely put it in the description so you will have it. So you can.
One last thing.
Out. Yes.
That was a word. I'm gonna buy my own CD and my own tape. So if you was moved in the spirit, $ Brooklyn Media 2 on Cash App. Amen. Amen. I'm like, bitch, I'm gonna get my own CD and tape.
I can't. Entrepreneur, and I'm like, he done created a whole CD based off of this interview, y'all. A whole CD. I'm gonna just email you the whole clipping, okay? You just take your bits and pieces. I just want to see the CD, okay?
$4.99. We taking all offers right now. I'm gonna split it with you. We $4.99. Just go ahead and send that. Go ahead, put your Cash App up there too. You send one to me. You send one to Miss Sanders and support programs like this. Black folks, spend that money.
Thank you so much.
Spend that money.
Thank you so much for coming on. I was about to say, is there anything else that you want to say?
Listen,
he's on social media too, y'all. So make sure you're following on IG. I'll put all his handles up there.
Put it up there. Follow me. I'll follow back. I talk. I love reaching out, touching people. My business is built around people. I don't sell any particular products. I'm in the people business. So I reach out, I talk, I touch. And really all I am and all that we do is we gather people and we connect people. We connect the dots from one person to the next. Mm-hmm. So whatever you're doing in life, I'm the plug. If you need something, I'm the plug. I'm going to plug you with whatever it is you're looking for. Trust me, we got it. If I don't got it, I know somebody that does. So that's my parting words. I expect my phone to be ringing after this this broadcast and this is streamed out there. I expect you guys to call me and email me, and I'm here for you.
They're going to call and email because, that's what people do. They're like writing it down.
Amen.
I was about to say 867. You know the song. Anyway, that's a whole nother. My whole brain went back to the 80s real quick.
We gotta get some music in the background. You gotta come on. See, when you have non-traditional guests like me who don't have no sense, you gotta have props and bring out stuff, and you gotta be prepared.
Listen, I am learning because I was over here like earlier today. I was like, oh, I need to, because this is the second we are coming up to our year anniversary of Releasing My Secret, the podcast, come May. And so I actually launched it the year anniversary of my business. So it was to do something else. And so I'm really excited that we have made it this far. And so just being able to, we took a little break in the winter, but coming back out stronger than ever. So I'm like, we're going to revamp. I told you, rebrand. I'm always rebranding something. New rebranding, coming out with something, doing something. That's just how I kind of function. But
I want to tell your listeners, I want to tell your listeners, if you don't see me, look, this is the end of the show. So if you don't see, she edited me out, and I want you to call her and get on her. If you don't see me, that means she done edited my shit out, and you need to get on her. Because that part didn't make it. There's always edits on. I don't want to end up on it because she already told me. She made the mistake of telling me. Some people, should I say that? She said they don't even make it on the show. She's been 2 hours and I don't want to end up on the cutting room floor. So if you ain't just seen me do this and I'm giving signals like Carol Burnett used to pull her ear when the show was over. If you ain't seen me do this, then she done edited my shit out.
Listen,
love
let
y'all.
me tell y'all, I only bring the best, and so I had to learn. I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna get off. I had to learn that everybody's not who they say that they are. That's number one, right? And that pre-screening is key because I'm not gonna just bring anybody on this podcast to talk to y'all and feed y'all foolishness that's not reality, right? Because y'all know I am like a reality vision to reality Releasing My Secret person. And so I need to make sure that whoever comes before you, that they're coming correct.
So is that the prelude to I'm done? Uh-oh. Was that this? So he definitely ain't make it. Lord, I'm in trouble right now.
Listen, y'all, I'm about to close. off of here because I'm gonna start laughing. It's gonna be like 2 hours. Y'all gonna be like, it ain't over yet. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank you, Nathan, for coming on. Make sure again, y'all, that y'all are following him. He got some events coming up. He does a R&B live every month. He just started back up. And so just make sure y'all are following and share. It costs absolutely nothing to share this broadcast, and especially with the VBE Festival coming up. So make sure y'all get the word out, spread the word, gather y'all people, get your rooms early. Y'all VIP casino people, get your room early while you can, right? And book it already because you already know the weekend. And so y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. I'm going to come back with another wonderful guest. And as I always close out this podcast, I always say the favorite quote, which is, healing doesn't mean that the trauma never existed. It means that the trauma no longer controls your life. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again, Nathan, for coming.